Welcome back, my friends. I hope you're all doing well. And today, guys, we're here with Game 3 in the best of 3 showdown between Zablasky, who in this match shall be playing the forces of the Vampire Coast. And now he is finishing the series facing off against Chosen One. Currently, it's 1-1 in the series. And for anybody who wants a little bit of a backstory, so earlier today I was doing a stream. Essentially, it was a practice tournament stream where players can play best of 3s versus other players in a tournament format outside of having to play in a long tournament and just kind of, practice and get some good games in. And during the middle of the stream, actually, my internet did not crash. It was YouTube had like basically, I don't know if it was like site-wide or if it was regional to the USA, but basically there was a huge crash on YouTube and pretty much all the streams went down. So I wasn't able to finish this series, and it was such a good series. We had an epic game 1 and epic game 2, and I was like, let's at least bring some closure to that stream, give it that sweet rest it deserves, and take a look at this game 3. So here, of course, we have Zablasky on the forces of the Vampire Coast, and in the front line, he's got a whole crew here of deckhand mobs, a mixture of halberds as well. And for his lord, he does actually have a Vampire Fleet Admiral with a pistol. Pistol, of course, can do some pretty good damage against armored single entities and other threats like that, and it is on foot. And you can see here that Chosen One has indeed brought a noble goon squad, and the nobles do have anti-large, so actually the foot character is going to be surprisingly durable against 2 nobles. In the back, and yeah, this is the Zablasky special. Basically, he does this. He gets 2 gunnery wights with the long rifles here, who again have great AP. He has extra powder, so he gives the extra powder to Queen Bess. It's really, really strong for sure, and Bessie is just a huge answer here against the archers and different tools like that. It's got some crabs as well in case like some cav units or reavers or other trollish kind of harass units try and get back here. And in the back, it looks like Zablasky does have a couple bombers as well. Again, a very good answer against like high elf infantry. However, it looks like Chosen One does have a pretty solid counter build in many ways. It's got a couple spearmen. In the center, he does have Lothern Seaguard, archers, as well as the Sisters of Averlorn. And it looks like he was very, very prepared here for Queen Bess. Of course, as I did mention on the stream, I think Zablasky is one of the first people to use the best double gunnery white build and then use a Vampire Caster or a Vampire Lord Caster basically with a pistol just to get that really nasty focus fire, because the gunnery whites have really long range and they also have like great AP values. So the 2 gunnery whites plus also the Vampire Fleet Admiral pistols, the sniping from those combined units is really, really strong. So I like that build quite a bit. But anyways, it's got an archer corps, some spearmen, 3 groups of the bolt throwers. Top of that, 2 reavers. In the back, noble goon squad with TECLIS, basically to net down and go after big armored threats. So for example, Morngulls, crabs, anything like that. The 2 nobles on horseback, anti-large AP, especially with TECLIS supporting with Flaming Sword of Ruin, can do some really, really nasty damage for sure. So start when ready. No rush. Here we go, guys. So yeah, again, my apologies for the stream crashing earlier. Not much we can do about that, but alas, I will be rendering this as soon. Like, this is just right after the stream, right after it crashed. So I'm going to be rendering this and putting it up tonight. Well, you guys are seeing this, so it doesn't really matter. But here in the back, you can see it looks like Chosen One a little bit privy to some potential doggo harass. When I play against high elves, I really like to use mortars, actually, and a bunch of scurvy dogs to try and harass the archer line. But it looks like Zablasky has a very different playstyle here. And I think this playstyle is very, very solid for sure. But again, Queen Bess needs to get a lot of value before the bolt throwers take her down. And Bessie, I mean, looks like the first shot ripping in might be going after the... Oh, and he actually has some mortars back there as well. I did not see that. So he does have 1 mortar here, I think. I think it's just 1 mortar. Yeah, unfortunately, oh my god, look at the damage Queen Bess did to that noble. So Queen Bess making massive contact on that noble right in the face there. Man, that was absolutely hilarious. So now the mortar's going to be shooting back up in the sky. Here they come. And a 1 and a 2. There must be 2 mortars back there. I think there's 1 like under those gunnery whites. But yeah, going to be shooting into spearmen. Oh my god, that is brutal damage. Brutal damage on those spearmen. They do, of course, have the enhanced ballistics, brain, function. And basically that gives them a huge accuracy buff, which you're seeing coming into effect here as these spearmen start to take some substantial damage. So now the Vampire Coast army is going to be surging forward. Queen Bess, of course, has much better range than the Eagle Claw bolt throwers, and Bessie's doing some good work so far. Doing some damage. It looks like he's actually opting to shoot Queen Bess into the bolt throwers, which I think is a bit of a mistake. I think that Bessie should probably be going into the archers and Sisters of Averlorn, but again, he probably has some scheme. And maybe he's using some crabs to block for Queen Bess. No, it looks like Bess is just kind of taking the shots right in the face, which means Queen Bess will be destroyed relatively soon. Anyways, mortars, he's actually going for it. Yeah, so he's trying to finish off the bolt thrower crews rather than shooting at archers and different things like that. Vampire Coast is now advancing with its main army. And the mortars are still going to be a substantial issue that he does eventually have to deal with. Here the nobles are coming forward, maybe going to be going after just some deckhand mobs or bombers. Not really sure what his plan is. Reavers in the back coming up and around, so the high elves, of course, looking to pressure this back line here. Here come the Reaver Cav. And Reavers are really, really good in this matchup. You don't need like heavier Cav. I mean, Silver Helms, of course, can do well, but I think that Reavers just do the job nice and fine. So the bombers here for Vampire Coast are getting worn down. Deckhand mobs are engaging against spearmen here, but for the most part, the high elves seem to be in pretty good position. Of course, Sisters of Avalorn still shooting quite happily. One of the bolt throwers is down, and I would imagine Queen Bess is down as well. I mean, 3 bolt throwers taking out Bessie is just going to be punishing for sure. So there still are 2 mortars back here, which are going to be a pretty decent threat. And of course, mortars are a much smaller target, so the bolt throwers aren't going to be able to deal with them quite as easily. And now comes to sniping. So you can see that Zablasky does have the double gunnery wights going after the nobles here. Nobles, of course, is basically just doing their thing, cleaning up the chaff units, but the zombies are, you know, they're wading forward. Some of the spearmen were very beat up from some of the saturated mortar fire as well. So it seems that the mortars might be able to pick off a couple more targets here. Sisters of Avalorn are now the priority target, which is very smart because they will melt these crabs very quickly. They do fire damage. They also have armor piercing, and these guys, of course, are weak to fire and they are armored. So these sisters are the kind of ideal choice to really take those guys out. Gunnery wights, let's see if we can get their targets here. Here comes a fiery convocation going right down the pipe, and there it goes. Does it do damage? Ooh, man. That last group of zombies got Zombie Nation for sure. Those guys got taken apart. Halberds here holding pretty well, actually, despite being rear charged by the Reavers, taking out a couple of Reaver Cav. Mortars still shooting in against the loose formations of archers. Well, I guess they're tightly packed, but just being kind of like loose in this general area. And the zombies are holding somewhat firm. Some of the spearmen are breaking. Gunnery wights, of course, are getting their good sniping value. The nobles are getting very beat up. Look at this. One of the nobles just being taken to absolute pound town here by the gunnery wights. Brutal damage coming in, and he's down to, man, 400 HP. Now we have the Vampire Fleet Admiral with the pistol intercepting these Reaver Cav, and also these crabs in the back who are being focused down by the bolt throwers, it looks like. So bolt throwers have opted not to go for the mortars, which is probably smart. Instead, focus down those big roadblock crabs, which will be very, very nasty. So Gunnery White's going to be engaging in combat against the Reavers, and it looks like a Noble is going to be following up as well. The Pistol Lord is able to fend back those Reavers, and also looks like it does drop an Invocation of Nehek on the Lamprey's Revenge, which he certainly needs to pull back, but the entire time this is going on, the Mortars have been shooting downtown, going after the Sisters and some of these other high-value targets here. And yeah, bread is certainly being buttered. So it looks like a summon coming down. This is a good summon. It's going to give him some light kind of missile pressure here into the Reavers. However, a very quick response here from Chosen One. He is able to get those Cav right into that Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob and shut them down temporarily. But here comes the Lamprey's Revenge. And even just 5 of these crabs is going to lend some serious help here to this battle, as they will be crabby slapping these guys. And probably being able to maybe push off the Reavers with the teamwork here from the Gunnery Whites. Gunnery Whites are in pretty good shape. There's, of course, like I said, a Noble here. Noble is basically designed to deal with those. Oh, and it looks like TECLIS was able to get a fat regrowth on that one, which was actually really, really big. Mortars are still shooting quite happily. It looks like most of the archer line for the Vampire, or for the High Elves, is somewhat done for. I mean, Lothern Seaguard here. We do also have the Sisters here, who are in a little bit of a precarious situation. And over here, the Lothern Seaguard are tied up as well. Ammunition is somewhat low on these guys, but it's really going to come down to this fight back here. So look at that. All the Reavers are pushed back, and suddenly these 2 crabs, they're just beast moding, pushing back this Noble. That Noble is done for, and you cannot run from these guys either, because they're going to just pop a cap in the rear of that Noble. That Noble does go down to the focus fire, and I now would imagine that these 3 like heavy shooting units are going to be lining up their sights. I don't know. Let's see what they're going to shoot. Pistol Vampire looks like it's going after the TECLIS here, maybe? The TECLIS. TECLIS taking a shot in the back here as the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob summons do sally forth here. I would imagine just pulling back the... Oh, fiery convocation from TECLIS. This could be huge. And here it comes. Oh, the brutal damage. Is it going to be enough to crumble the mortars? They were at -50 leadership for a moment. Now they're at -5. Looks like they're going to stabilize. Maybe not. That could have actually been a game-winning convocation. Man, that was a really nice cast there. Both these players playing an absolute scrap of a game here. So the Gunnery Whites, of course, going strong. You can see here they're holding. But the Nobles are nearby as well. Noble is forced back. The Reavers do charge in. An Invocation would just be so valuable right now. Like, if he has the wins for it, if Zablasky does, and getting a huge Invocation of Nehek on these guys, that would just be so damn good. So we'll see if he's able to get that off. Gunnery White's falling back. 825 here, 436 right here. Yeah, the fallback is definitely the play. It looks like a summon of Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs was able to get over here. Oh no, and a regular one. Oh, the bolt throwers are being swept by the zombies. Where did they come from? They just like rise from the dirt? That is big. And a lot of this game's going to come down to, honestly, if these Gunnery Whites can be stabilized. 470 here, 52 here. It looks like one Gunnery White will crumble into ash here, so he's going to be disappearing in a moment. All hands hoy. Oh, it almost stabilizes him, but not quite. He is not going to be able to heal. The other Gunnery White is in good shape. If Zablasky can keep him online, maybe, but here comes a torrent of fire coming in. Lothern Seaguard opening up on this crab. 304. Is there going to be an invo? It looks like there might be some witchcraft going down. All hands ahoy, and enhanced ballistics as well going down. -28. The Vampire with the pistol just kind of running about. And man, if you guys didn't see the games earlier, they'll be getting posted. It was from the stream. These guys had 2 games on stream, and they were just so close and so good. And this one is living up to the expectations for sure. Now, the issue for the Elves is like most of their army is just so beat down. And the Vampire, of course, will be pretty good against TECLIS. It has a ton of ammo left. Net of ammo talk has been dropped. So maybe they're going to try and snipe the vampire, but like with what? They have like nothing here. They have like some sisters, some Lothern Sea Guard, a couple units like that. Granted, Vampire Coast is basically in the exact same situation. You can see here the mortars in the back are crumbling down. They're in pretty bad shape. The Queen Bess crew is running up. I wonder if the Queen Bess crew could like man up on the mortars. I don't think so, but anyways, here we have the zombie pirate deckhand mobs with polearms going to be engaging here against these Sisters of Avalorn, who are actually better in combat than the zombies. They're pretty good fighters, but nonetheless, I think the numbers advantage for the zombies plus having a lord fighting in here is going to be pretty big. And I would imagine TECLIS might be coming in, trying to go down the mortars. In the back, though, in the meantime, look at this. The High Elves are able to take out the mortars, all the artillery crews, and there's a ton of spearmen. Are these halberds going to be able to hold? And also, does Zablasky have the Vampire Fleet Admiral in the back pocket? That is the other really big question here. Oh no, TECLIS is in the danger zone. Is he going to get hornswoggled here? It looks like the Vampire was coming in for TECLIS for a moment. TECLIS looks to have a regrowth here, which is going to be pretty big. Oh, that's strong. That is a strong regrowth. And does he have the Sword of TECLIS? No, he doesn't. You almost never see anybody bring that. It's a bit of a meme. Oh, but look at this. Chosen One does also have the Noble. The Noble somehow lived. And that means that if his spearmen and other troops are kind of tar-pitting Zablasky's forces, that Noble can then cycle charge. And even if it can get out quick enough, it could potentially do some damage. It only has 370. Anyways, here you can see a lot of these Hyle forces are breaking as the Vampire, with all hands hoy, giving them some juicy weapon damage, is going to be surging forward. You can see currently the halberds up to 34 weapon strength, which really is quite strong. And the spearmen are shaken. Of course, there's an innate fear from fighting vampires. If you look at all these vampiric or undead units, they all cause fear. So, of course, they have a little bit of a leadership penalty on top of things. So in the late game, it can become quite scary. In the distance, Chosen One unleashing some firepower here with the Lothern Sea Guard. But here, the Reavers and other units are being forced back. The Noble is at its healing cap, so there's not going to be too much else going on over there. And there still is one bolt thrower shooting. It has only one shot left, though. Well, where did these guys come from? I did not see that. So Zablasky still has Lamprey's Revenge. Oh, they must have been chasing something off the map, so my apologies, guys. But again, I think the fact that I missed them makes the game a little bit more exciting because now there's a huge X factor coming in. And basically the undead are moving forward, but some of them are crumbling. And of course, if you could just like kite them out. And I mean, he's fighting over here, so clearly he's engaged. And yeah, it's literally coming down to artillery crews fighting artillery crews. The Queen Bess crew is going to fight some spearmen here. And how is their combat stats? Pretty terrible. They're going to get taken apart by these spearmen. Probably 21 though. I mean, they might be able to get their cutlasses out and finish off these spearmen simply because of how beat up the spearmen are. But it looks like the Hyle spearmen might be able to hold firm and actually win this fight. Man, this is a tense one. Over in the distance here, Zablasky and his crabs are able to finish off those Lothern Sea Guard. He might actually chase those guys off the battlefield. Something else to also note is that the Lamprey's Revenge do have some ammo left. So they, of course, have those shotgun blasts that can do a lot of work. In the distance, we have zombies fighting spearmen, basically the wet noodle contest of the century. Always a good time for all. And the Vampire Fleet Admiral looks to be dropping some shots. He's probably lining up his pistol here on the Noble. He needs to pick that Noble for sure. As far as beating TECLIS in combat, the Vampire should be able to. It has a lot better stats, better weapon strength, even if it's a little bit beat up. And also, the Vampire does have the Hunger, so the Hunger is going to be a pretty big deal. So Lothern Sea Guard using their last shots to try and whittle whatever HP they can off the Lamprey's Revenge. And the Noble does take a pistol shot. He does. He's down to 252, -1, and he's broken and shattered. Oh no, and then Zablasky used Chosen One used a regrowth, I think, on him. Oh, that's so painful. Oh no. But again, I understand the logic, trying to give him the... I think it doesn't give physical resist anymore, though. It just gives vigor. I don't know if that was worth it. The Noble's at his healing cap. I think that might have just been like kind of not a panic per se, but just like kind of a quick reaction just to a usual circumstance. But the healing cap, of course, was there. So the mainline fighting's here. Balance of power is like dead even. Currently a little bit favored, actually, for the High Elves. This Vampire, like I said, is going to be an absolute raid boss. Oh, no, and he has a summon left. He's been holding it in the back pocket. What a dirty dog. A scurvy dog he is, this Zablasky. And, man, brutal stuff. Lothern Sea Guard get trapped out. There's no more ammo here for the High Elves, so they can't, like, kite anymore, really. TECLIS could cycle charge, of course, but I think that this is going to be a victory for the Vampire Coast after all is said and done. TECLIS charges in here and does get an outstanding charge here in the Vampire Fleet Admiral. Opal Amulet and all hands hoy popped. The crews are in. The crabs are crumbling down. Are they? No, they're not. Strong binding. The Vampire Coast looking quite strong here. Some more spearmen coming back in. But at this point, I mean, Zablasky basically just needs to get his... not Zablasky, Chosen One needs to get his... I know, Zablasky plays Elves too, so it kind of is tripping me out here. He needs to get the spearmen in and kind of wait out that summon. Spearmen, of course, are marching into combat here. So he's going to be regrouping his forces here. And the zombie pirate deckhand mobs are coming. They're waddling. They're coming for blood here. Spearmen are going to be getting buffed by regrowth, which is going to be quite nice. They still have a decent model count. So, man, Zablasky or Chosen One has so much Winds of Magic here. Able to get that regrowth in this like late game situation. He probably has Potion of Croy on TECLIS as well. And these zombies will be disappearing in a second here. They're braced, not that it matters, because of course they don't have charge defense against infantry, so they're going to get their charge defense basically broken, then the crabs are going to be charging in. TECLIS might have enough for a fiery convocation. I don't know how many charges it has. I think he used it twice this game, so I would imagine there's not going to be too much more. And you can see here the summoned zombies are gone. They are disappearing right now. And now the actual zombies have to charge into combat. Man, this is such a nail biter. Oh my god. These High Elf Spearmen, are they going to hold? That's really the difference maker. Oh, and it looks like there's going to be a flaming sword of ruin going down. Man, Chosen One holding all the winds of magic here for the fourth quarter. So my prediction just going back and forth. Potion of Croy pops as well, which is going to be some fat healing for TECLIS. And is this going to be a High Elf victory? Of course, the fire damage gives them a lot of extra boost here against the Lamprey's Revenge, who are weak to fire. And it seems like the High Elf Spearmen are holding. They're steady. They have the encouragement, of course, of TECLIS, who can happily cycle charge. One of the crabs has fallen, it looks like, and now there are 3 crabs left. Oh, no. Oh, another summon. That is so brutal for the Spearmen. Suddenly they're surrounded by... Man, and that's really a testament to being not spamming all your summons early. Like in a situation like this, man, he is getting so much value out of these summons. So now TECLIS basically just has to hold here. I don't think there's anything else coming. And that puts the balance of power back in the favor of the Vampire Coast. One of the Lamprey's Revenge models is going down here, and the High Elf Spearmen are broken. Are they going to come back? There are 20 models. And of course, there's a long time before these zombie pirates go away. And I would imagine that Chosen One is going to have some Potion of Croy action soon-ish. Probably not that soon. And he's just getting slapped up. The Vampire Fleet Admiral, like I said, still has ammo and is a much better combatant. So TECLIS is going to be in the danger zone. And that looks to be a very, very close victory for the Vampire Coast. Oh my goodness. If he didn't have the summons there, I think he would have lost. I think the High Elf Spearmen would have held, killed the crabs, and then he could have cycle charged and maybe beaten down the Vampire. Oh my god, what an absolute nail-biter of a game. So if you guys want to see the first 2 games, make sure to go to my stream, which was earlier. I'm just going to retitle it as basically a showcase between these 2 guys. Unfortunately, it did crash. YouTube was having some issues with their streaming service today, so it is what it is. But man, both these players very evenly matched. Really, that could have gone either way. I think Chosen One had some really good tools against the Queen Bess, and it really did show. So now, guys, we're going to update the scorecard. Zablaski will win this best of 3 series 2-1. And remember, guys, it is a practice series. So these players, in some of the other matches, were playing their off races and things like that. And it was still a very, very close series. So awesome stuff. So again, very well played to Chosen One and Zablaski. My apologies for the stream earlier, guys. It is what it is. And we'll be back with more content soon.